All right, good evening, everybody. Thank you all for joining our Twitter space this evening. I want to be sure that we all can hear me, please. If you can hear me, please. Can you use any of the reaction buttons to react so I can know that I'm speaking to myself? Yeah, good evening once again. I'm still waiting for reactions from you all. Yeah, thank you very much. I just wanted to be sure that somebody can hear me. You're welcome, Abigail. You're welcome, Sophia. You're welcome, you're welcome, Ted. You're welcome, Afolabi. Yes, I would indulge us to kindly share the space details on our timeline so that we can have more people join the conversation. And in the next few minutes, we'll take up the conversation. Thank you very much. All right. So I think we'll just kickstart the conversation right away. Good evening, everybody, once again. Yeah, Abigail, the invitation to speak has been sent to you. Please kindly accept. Thank you very much. Yeah, so moving forward, I would like to introduce what we do to you as products. I'd like to run through our services as products. So, um, welcome to our space once again. This is product space. So, what we do at products, we are a tech recruiting firm. Basically, we have about four different services that we offer. We have recruitment, we have outsourcing, we have gigs, and we have software development. We have close to 7,000 tech talents in um, our pool, and these tech talents are vetted. We have different people in different fields. We have product managers, we have software developers, um, we have product managers, and a whole lot of tech talents in our pool. So what we do is to connect these tech talents to clients abroad, and we've been successful at that for a while now. So for our recruitment, what we just do is as a client, you get to hire tech talent from us, and we connect you to well vetted tech talents that when you see their profile, you yourself will be amazed. And also for the outsourcing part, you get to hire from us, yes, and at the same time, we get to help you handle your payroll, your human resources, and needs and all. And for the software development, remember I said the tech recruiting firm, we started off as from a software background. We have a software background, so in case you need a group of techies to help you develop software for your organization, you can always reach out to us. And yeah, also for gigs, in case you just need to work on the short project and you need tech talent to help you do that, you can always reach out to us. And like I said earlier, we've worked with a number of tech companies in and out of Africa, and it's been a great one. Yeah. So one more thing before I continue, I'd like to. All right. So I would like to introduce us to processing. Processing is the latest software from coders. It is a combination of a recruitment platform and artificial intelligence. So for this, what we've been able to do is the recruitment platform has been merged with some artificial intelligence. And what this will do for you as a technical recruiter or as a client is that it will help you eliminate complex keywords. It is user friendly and it will notify you once your preferred candidate is available. So for you to get started, just head on to processing.io. Yeah, so I think that will be all for our services. Let me just move into the subject matter for today, which is staying safe online, understanding cybersecurity threats. So one of our this thing is one of our goals at Produce is to make sure that we always educate our audience from time to time on different subject matters. In January, we were talking about what's it called? We were talking about the AI. That was when ChatGPT came out, and a lot of people were talking about it. It was like a talk of the town. So we organized a space that time where we talked about ChatGPT, what AI would do to jobs, and we tried to analyze ChatGPT. In February, we had a conversation around blockchain and AI, trying to check how we can leverage the two together. So, and yeah, here we are today with staying safe online, understanding cybersecurity threats. Yeah, please, I would like to request that you give me a minute so that I can set up the necessary thing between the speaker and I. Thank you very much. Yeah, sorry about the break. I had to talk to our speaker on a couple of things and should join us very back. Yeah, so talking about staying safe. Okay, yeah, she's back. So you can you can accept the invitation to speak, Abigail. So talking about our topic for today, staying safe online, understanding cybersecurity threats. We've come to educate everyone. Okay, yeah, you're welcome, Abigail. We are here to educate everyone on the latest cybersecurity threats and the updates. And just so you know, we are talking about cybersecurity in this case for individuals. We are not looking at organizations and all. Because oftentimes when you mention cybersecurity to people, they think cybersecurity just has to do with an organization or something. But no, we want to start with individuals first. Because I believe that is when individuals understand the basis of staying safe online. That's when they can then tend to replicate that in their various organizations. So moving forward, I would just like to introduce Abigail. I will just read a couple of things about her and then we get started. Yeah, so Abigail Johnson is a cybersecurity analyst and a penetration tester. She performs authorized simulated attacks on systems to evaluate the security of the system. She works with companies to perform simulated attacks on their systems, perform social engineering on their staff to test their knowledge about cybersecurity. So, our speaker for today is a well-respected cybersecurity, let's say professional now, and an analyst. Yeah, over to you, um, Abigail. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I was trying to clap for you. Just to welcome you on board. Yeah, before you continue, please, I just have a simple question for you. Can you just run us through your role as a penetration tester? So after that, you can then go ahead with your session. Thank you very much.
Okay. So, like he has said, I am a penetration tester and cybersecurity analyst. So, my role as a penetration tester is to perform simulated attacks on computer systems to evaluate the security of the systems. So, what I do is that I help companies by testing if it's their web application or computer networks here to identify vulnerabilities in those systems, and then I help them to report those vulnerabilities so they get mitigated. So that's what I do, just hunting for vulnerabilities and then reporting them to organizations so they get fixed and so it doesn't lead to data leakage or any other cyber attack. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much for that. Yeah.
Okay. So today, I'll be talking about online safety and understanding cybersecurity threats. So, the purpose of this space is to help mostly end users understand the different cybersecurity threats and also ways to remain safe while making use of the internet. So, we are going to cover what cybersecurity is all about.
Sorry, Abigail.
Common, yeah.
Yeah, sorry to cut you short. I would just like to say this again, please. Let's do well to share this space on our timeline so I can have more people join the conversation. Thank you very much. You can continue.
Okay, so I'm going to discuss what cybersecurity is all about, common security threats, best practices for staying safe online, how to protect your personal information online, and what to do if you become a victim of cybercrime. So that's all I'll have for today's space. So moving on, why is online safety important and why is it crucial to understand cybersecurity threats? So, online safety is important because it helps protect individuals and organizations from various threats that can cause financial, reputational, and even physical harm. As more people and businesses use digital platforms and the internet to communicate, conduct transactions, and store sensitive information, the risk of cyber attacks has significantly increased. Yeah, so we have cybersecurity threats can range from phishing scams, which is the most popular attack form, and also malware infections to identity theft and ransomware attacks. Without proper knowledge and understanding of these threats, individuals and organizations may fall prey to cybercriminals who can steal their personal and financial information, disrupt their operations, and even gain unauthorized access to their devices and networks. So this is why understanding cybersecurity threats is crucial because it helps individuals and organizations take proactive measures to protect themselves against these threats. So this can include using strong passwords, keeping software and systems up to date, being cautious when clicking on links or opening attachments, and using antivirus or other security software. So, what then is cybersecurity? Here, in very simple terms, I'm going to define cybersecurity as the practice taken to protect computers, networks, and other digital devices from damage, unauthorized access, theft, and other malicious activities. So, the purpose of cybersecurity is to protect the confidentiality, integrity, and availability of data. So, cybersecurity is essential because it helps protect individuals and organizations from cyber threats, like I stated earlier, cyber threats like malware, phishing, and ransomware attacks. So, it is important because these cyber attacks can cause significant financial and reputational damage, disrupt business operations, and compromise sensitive information. Once a company has been once a company has been affected by a malware or phishing scam, this can really lead to financial and reputational damage we've heard of. I'm going to give us examples of different cyber attacks here. Moving on. So we're on now. Yeah, so example of before that, so we'll talk about common cyber security threats here before the examples of cybersecurity measures that can help individuals and organizations. Let's talk about common cybersecurity threats. So we have phishing scams. So phishing is a type of cyber attacks where attackers try to trick people into giving away sensitive information like passwords or credit card numbers. This is often done through emails that appear to be from a trusted source. So the emails may contain a link to a fake website that looks like the real one, or an attachment that contains malware. So to understand better, let's assume a red teamer. So I'm a red teamer that have been hired by an organization to help them improve their IT security framework. So one of the ways I'm going to get access to this company's infrastructure is going to be through a phishing scam. So which involves sending an email or message that appears to be from a legitimate source. So a red teamer is So, like I said, a red teamer is someone or a cybersecurity professional, that works to help companies improve their IT security professionals. So, I've been hired by a company to help them improve their security infrastructure. So one of the ways I'm going to gain access to their infrastructure is through phishing scams. So this will involve sending an email or message that appears to be from a legitimate source, such as a trusted vendor or colleague, with a link or attachment that contains malicious software. So to gain access through a phishing scam, I will start by researching the company's employees and the software they use. So this might involve looking up employees' name, job titles on social media or professional networking sites, and gathering information about the company's software and systems. Once I've identified the potential target, I will craft a phishing message that appears to be from a trusted source, like an email from the company's IT department with a link or attachment that appears to be relevant to the target job. So the link or attachment would actually contain malware, which would give me access to the target computer or the company's network. So that's how phishing scam works. So in 2014, hackers sent phishing emails to employees at Sony Pictures Entertainment. When employees clicked the link, they unwittingly gave hackers access to the company's systems, resulting in massive data breach. Yeah, so that happened in 2014. And moving on, the next one is malware. So malware is a software designed to help computers, networks, and mobile devices. So designed to harm, sorry. Malware is a software designed to harm computers, networks, and mobile devices. So malware can take any form, including viruses, worms, Trojan horses, spyware, hardware, rootkits, and ransomware. So you can go on to research more about each of these malwares. So once installed on a computer or device, malware can steal data, damage files, or gain unauthorized access to networks. In 2017, the WannaCry ransomware attack affected more than 200,000 computers in 150 countries. Yeah, the malware spread quickly through networks, encrypting files and damaging payment in exchange for the decryption key. Another type of Another common type of cybersecurity attack is ransomware, which is a type of malware that encrypts files on a computer or device and demand for payment in exchange for the decryption key. scamming. So the WannaCry ransomware attack is an example of a ransomware attack here. So ransomware can be delivered through phishing emails, infected software, software downloads, or by exploiting vulnerabilities in software. Let's say you have an outdated software on your laptop. So in 2021, the Colonial pipeline was hit by a ransomware attack that shut down the pipeline for several days. So the company had to pay 4.4 million US dollars ransom to regain access to their system. So social engineering, the next cybersecurity threat is social engineering attack. So social engineering is the use of psychological manipulation to trick people into giving sensitive information. This can be done through email, phone calls, or in person. Common social engineering tactics include pretending to be a trusted source or using urgency or fear to pressure the victim into giving away information. Like I spoke about phishing scam. So phishing scam falls under social engineering attacks. We have phishing, and then we have smishing. So we have and social engineering can be done through emails, phone calls, or in person. Let's say I want to gain access into a let's say I want to gain the credentials of a particular person. I can I can either do this through phone call by calling the person, pretending yeah to be a trusted person, or I can meet the person and then try to know more about the person, or I can do this through emails. Yeah, so in 2013, a hacker gained access to the Twitter account of the Associated Press and tweeted false information about a terrorist attack on the White House. So this is an example of social engineering attacks. Also in 2016, Yahoo announced data from over 1 million user accounts had been stolen in a data breach that occurred in 2013. So the breach was attributed to state-sponsored hackers, and this included personal information like names, email addresses, and passwords. So in summary, individuals and organizations face a variety of cyber security threats, each with its own unique tactics and risks. So understanding how these threats work and taking appropriate measures to protect against them is crucial for safeguarding personal and confidential information. So now we've know what cybersecurity is, we've also learned about the most common cybersecurity threats. So what are the best practices? How do you protect yourself online? Yeah, what are the things you need to do to stay safe online? So number one is the most common, one you hear, which is using strong and unique passwords. So using strong and unique passwords can prevent unauthorized access to personal and confidential information. A strong password should be at least 12 characters long and contain a mix of uppercase and lowercase letters, numbers, and special characters. You can also use password managers to generate and store these passwords for you. We have Dashlane, which is a password manager you can install on your mobile device. We have One Password and we have LastPass. So another best practice is using two-factor authentication. So two-factor authentication adds an extra layer of security by requiring users to provide two forms of identification to access an account. Let's say after you want to join Facebook, after you've created an account, by putting in your email address and then your password, you have to add an extra layer of security, which is two-factor authentication. So two-factor authentication can prevent unauthorized access even if a password is being compromised. You can enable two-factor on your email, social media, and banking accounts to add an extra layer of security. So after you've joined Facebook, you can go to the settings and then add turn on your two-factor authentication, because this will help you this will help you from account takeover. Yeah, let's say an attacker has gotten your password, knows your password, but he for that attacker to like gain access to your account, the person would need an extra layer of security, which is a two-factor authentication. So without the two-factor authentication, even with your password, the attacker won't be able to gain access to your Facebook account. So another one we have is keeping software up to date. So keeping software up to date with the latest security patches and updates can prevent cyber criminals from exploiting vulnerabilities in software to gain unauthorized access to systems. So you can do this by enabling automatic updates on your computer and mobile devices to ensure that software is always up to date. Because if your softwares are not up to date, once if your softwares are not up to date, and once your system has been scanned and you realize there's a particular software that you have that isn't updated, yeah, that can be exploited. Yeah, so you make sure your softwares here are being updated. So next up we have being cautious of phishing scams. So phishing scams are designed to trick individuals into revealing personal confidential information, like I stated earlier. So you have to be cautious of emails or messages, and never click on links or download attachments from unknown sources. So you have to verify the sender's email address, and you have to like over the links to check the URLs before clicking on them. So this particular practice will like demand me like would have like demanded that I showed you people in practical, yeah, because but you have to verify the sender's email address, and yeah, make sure you hover over the link here to check the URL before clicking on them. So another best practice is using antivirus software. So antivirus software can help detect and prevent malware infections. Make sure to keep antivirus software up to date with the latest virus definition. So you can install reputable antivirus software on your computer and run regular scans to detect and remove malware. Up next, we have backup data regularly. So regularly backing up data can prevent data loss in the event of a malware infection or hardware failure. So let's say your system has been affected by a malware. So if you do back up your data, you won't have to like worry that much. But if your data isn't backed up, yeah, that will cause data loss. Set up automatic backups to the cloud or an external hard drive to ensure that data is always backed up. So that's all for best practices for staying safe online. Moving on, I'm going to talk about how to protect personal information online. So, personal information refers to any information that can be used to identify an individual, such as name, um, date of birth, social security number, email address, phone number, or financial information. So hackers can use this information for a variety of malicious purposes, including identity theft, financial fraud, and other cyber crimes. They can use personal information to steal an individual's identity, access bank accounts, apply for loans or credit cards, and make fraudulent purchases. So they can also use personal information to gain access to sensitive data or systems such as corporate networks or government databases. So identity theft and financial fraud can have severe consequences on individuals and even businesses. So some of the consequences of these cyber crimes include financial loss. So identity theft and financial fraud can result in significant financial losses for victims. So, cyber criminals can use stolen personal information to access bank accounts, apply for loans or credit cards, like I've said, or make fraudulent purchases, causing financial damage to victims. Another would be damage to credit scores. So cyber criminals can use stolen personal information to open new accounts or lines of credit, which can negatively impact victims' credit scores. So this can make it difficult for the victim to obtain loans or credit in the future. Another is legal consequences. So victims of identity theft and financial fraud may also face legal consequences such as being held liable for fraudulent purchases made in their name. So once your personal information has been stolen and an attacker is out there using your name, so you'll be held liable for these fraudulent purchases. Meanwhile, you're not the one who is making them, and then you can also be sued, yeah, by creditors for unpaid debt. Another another is financial sorry, another is reputational damage. So identity theft and financial fraud can also damage victims' reputation, yeah, particularly if the fraud involves illegal or unethical activities, and this can make it difficult for victims to find employment or maintain professional relationships. So, and finally, identity theft here can cause emotional distress. So, victims can experience emotional distress like anxiety, stress, and depression due to the invasion of privacy and loss of control over their personal information. So, identity theft and financial fraud can have a long lasting impact on victims' financial stability, credit worthiness, and emotional well-being. It is important for individuals and businesses to take steps to protect their personal and financial information to prevent these cyber crimes from occurring. In addition to the security practices I shared earlier, I'm going to say avoid sharing personal information such as phone numbers, addresses, or travel plans on social media platforms. So you have to be cautious when entering personal information online, especially on unfamiliar or unsecured websites. So password managers can help you generate strong and unique password for different accounts and ensure that they are stored securely, like I mentioned, Dashlane, one password, and LastPass. Yes, so regularly monitor financial accounts for suspicious activity such as unauthorized purchases or withdrawals. And finally, what do you do if you become a victim of cybercrime? So, if an individual becomes a victim of cybercrime, there are several steps you should take to mitigate the damage and prevent further harm. So, one would be to notify financial institutions. So, the first step, you have to notify financial institutions such as your bank or credit card companies of the fraudulent activity that is going on, so they can freeze your account, cancel credit cards, and take other necessary steps to prevent further financial damage. Another thing you have to do is to change your password. So the victim should immediately change password for all accounts that may have been compromised. Yeah. So they should also consider enabling two-factor authentication for other security, because this is really going to help you a lot. Another is you have to report the incident. So you can report the incident to authorities, yeah, like local law enforcement. Yeah. So And lastly, you have to like monitor your account. So you have to regularly monitor all financial account and credit reports to ensure that there are no further unauthorized transactions or accounts opened in your name. So that's all for that's all I have to share today concerning understanding cybersecurity threats and staying safe online. So these are the few steps and practices that you have to follow to make sure that you're safe online. Yeah, thank you very much for listening. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you very much, Abigail, for that. Thank you so much for running us through cybersecurity and staying safe online. Yeah, before we move forward, we will move to the question and answer segment almost immediately. But then before we do that, if you are on this conversation, please kindly do well to follow us, and you can be notified when we have new tweets and when we have new posts. Yeah, when we started, I introduced projects to the people that were on ground at that time. I would do that again also at the end of the space. Yeah, once again, thank you so much, Abigail. So, if you have a question or if you have a contribution to how you can stay safe online or how individuals can stay safe online, please do what to request for the mic out. I'll make you a speaker. Yeah, so let's quickly do that. Your question or contribution. While waiting for people to do that, I I think I'll just say this. When you were talking about staying safe online, you said that we should use strong passwords, and you suggested 12 characters. And the last time I checked, I think the only thing I used to see was 8 characters, and I'm surprised now that I don't know. Probably the standard has been increased to 12 characters because of I don't know, cyber attackers or cyber criminals. So I just want to ask, probably that's like a new rule, or you just felt using 12 characters would make individuals to be more safe, or can you give an explanation to that, Abigail? Yeah, let's start from that. Thank you.
Okay, using like 12 characters doesn't like necessarily mean you'll be safe, yeah, because even the 8 characters, yeah, they can the 8 characters, I do like advise people to use more than that because yeah, a word list is like a list of possible passwords that have been gotten here from a data breach and all that. So when you look at this word list, or if I'm to create my own word list, I'm going to like make the word list like I'm going to make it like I'm going to make the word list here 8 characters long. So 8 characters doesn't necessarily mean you'll be safe, and also 12 characters doesn't necessarily mean you'll be safe from attacks. So that's why we say that you should use two-factor authentication. So once your passwords have been compromised, you know that yeah, you have your two-factor as an added layer of security. So also it depends on your threat model here. If your if your should I say if you're the CEO of a particular company or administrator, yeah, I won't advise you to be using 5 characters or 8 characters here because compared to compared to the cleaner in the office here, you guys are different, people are different. So it depends on I'm also going to say it depends on your threat model here because it it depends on your threat model, yeah.
All right, thank you very much, Abigail, for that. We have
Host, chairman, you're muted. Oh.
Oh, sorry, sorry. Thank you very much for that. So that was a mistake. Yeah, so let me ask my question again. Sorry. I was asking about Google Password Manager because while you were talking, you mentioned Password Manager. So my question now is that how safe are the Password Manager sites? Because I was trying to explain the fact that maybe just in case one day an attacker or an hacker can get into the server or database of password manager site, and they can try to get the passwords of thousands of people. So what can you say about that? Are password manager sites, are they really safe to that extent for us to trust our passwords with them? Yeah. So that's my question, Abigail. Then after that we'll move to Bedman for his contribution or question. Thank you.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'm going to say that even if you even if an attacker should yeah, because was it last year we heard that, yeah, was it last past year, yeah, got attacked, but the passwords of its users were still secured because these passwords were sorted. So these passwords are not like stored, how they're not like readable. Yeah, let me put it like that in simple form. Yeah, so once you've used the password manager, just know that your passwords are sorted. Yeah, they're like they've been hashed, something like that. So for people who don't really like it, they've been hashed. So you like it's still like advisable you use this password manager because they're putting in efforts to make sure that your passwords are like secure. So you have to like trust them with your passwords. Yeah, not like 100% still, but you have to trust them.
All right, thank you very much, Abigail, for that.
You're welcome.
Yeah, so Bedman, you can go ahead with your question or your contribution. Please let's be conscious of the time. Thank you very much. Over to you, Bedman.
All right, thanks, boss. Yeah, so I was just going to say about the 12 characters here. In addition to like the length and complexity of the password, that's not the main thing. That's not the only thing that you should consider. So you can have a password that meets complexity requirements, but you're using the words you are using in the password matters a lot. So if it's a password you need to be typing, it's advisable to use four random memorable words. You can use like dash or spaces self to separate it. And that makes it and that means you won't even need to use like special characters unless or numbers unless like the websites you're using specifically wants to force you to do that. But that makes it increasingly difficult to crack. I'll probably send a link. There's NCSA guidance on creating good passwords, and generally, if you follow that, you'll be safe. In addition to that, in terms of password managers, it's actually funny because there's a real life case of a password manager getting breached, and unfortunately, would it be that? Sorry. Um, what was I even saying? I don't lose my train of thoughts. So yeah, last pass. They got breached and they handled it in the worst way possible because it looks like they didn't even really understand what had happened, or they were trying to like cover, like they didn't have like full transparency. So initially they were like, "Oh, we got breached, but don't worry, it had nothing to do with passwords or the password vault or anything like that. It was just, they got access to some source code and that was it." And then a few months later, they were like, "Oh, by the way, they got access to some vaults, but they didn't get access to any encryption keys or anything like that. So you're good. You're safe. And then months later, they came out again. So they kept like releasing more statements, which is kind of fine. I mean, as you're investigating, you'd uncover more information, but they still handled it very poorly, and lots of people left them. Basically, my point is that do your research about any password manager you want to use. Make sure they have a good reputation in terms of cybersecurity. If you have like, if you're the kind of person that has a lot to protect in terms of, like Abigail was saying, your threat model, you can also go as far as like learning exactly what, like how they are storing, how they are encrypting and everything. Because the last part, even though they were encrypting the passwords, they were not encrypting some of the metadata, like the URL of the websites and other stuff like that. So even after they got breached, even if they couldn't access your password, they can literally see parts of your browsing history just based on those URLs. And sometimes some websites store tokens in URLs as well. So if any of those tokens were still valid, that's also a risk. But yeah, just do your research about any password manager you want to use, because that's another thing. You're transferring the risk onto the password manager, but the risk is still there. So you want to make sure you're using a good one. But yeah, that's it for me, really.
All right, thank you very much, Bedman, for your contribution. Yes, I had to use that sound at that time. I wanted people to just feel relaxed. Like, luckily, I got a lot of laughing reactions, and yeah, sorry to disturb your thoughts the other time. Yeah, thank you so much once again, Bedman. So let's have X Dan here for your contribution or your question. Thank you very much.
Hi guys. First, I want to thank you guys for organizing stuff like this, and Abigail was fantastic as always and as usual. So, my question is, uh, so my question is, as a software engineer or a web developer, what are the things, um, what should we look out for in terms of cybersecurity threats and or like what should we put in place to avoid leaks and what have you? Yeah, so that's about my question. Yeah.
All right, thank you very much, X Dan. I would have Abigail answer that question first, then we go to Bedman. Thank you very much. Or we can have Bedman first, then Abigail. If Abigail is not ready for that yet.
Okay. Yeah, I'll be quick because I know I'm literally just a guest in this space. So I'm not even a guest speaker. I just joined.
No, no, no.
So
You
I
can speak. We'll just speak. Yeah, we're all here to learn. So
yeah, yeah, yeah,
no
sure.
matter.
Yeah. So I really wanted to answer that because I have a background in software development, before switching into cybersecurity. So that's like a very interesting topic for me. But in terms of as a software developer, there are lots of things you need to consider, like writing secure code. But before you even get to the stage of writing secure code, the way you have your software development lifecycle, you should have a secure software development lifecycle. So from the design and architecture stage, you need to start thinking about security. You need to have like, okay, what is the threat model? What are the potential ways of access? Where would all the data be stored and all that stuff? But when it comes to secure coding, there's this project called OWASP, Open Web Application Security Project. They have like lots of resources there. They have the most common, the top 10 application security vulnerabilities and how they appear in code and how they can be fixed. Then you should also have some automated process of testing. So you should have like static and dynamic testing, where like as you're writing your code, you can have like a plugin what's it called, your code editor or IDE that would kind of help you detect some of these vulnerabilities, because a lot of them are like easy to fix, but the bigger your application gets, the more likely it is that you have these things sprinkled around, because human, you make mistakes, and if you don't have an automated process of detecting them, you are more likely to have more of them in the long run. And then there's also like things you can integrate into your deployment pipeline. So for instance, if you push code to GitHub and create a pull request, you can have like a hook that would go through the code. Sorry?
You can
Okay.
go ahead.
Okay. I'll just wrap up. So you can have like automated tools that will go through the code, detect vulnerabilities, and then give you like suggestions on how to fix them. Then there's also dynamic, that it's not going through the code, but it's like running the application from an outside perspective and detecting vulnerabilities. But yeah, in general, just go through that OWASP project. It has lots of resources.
All right, thank you very much, Bedman. Um, Abigail, do you have any contribution to like Egdan's question before we move on?
No, not really. Yeah, that can be like a discussion for another day because there are a lot of things to discuss. But yeah, Birdman here has summarized everything. Yeah. I also suggest that you look at the OAPS project too as well because it's really going to help you as developers. Yeah.
All right, thank you very much, Abigail. Bedman, please, you said you're going to send the link. Please, I would appreciate if you can send it to the DM of this page. Thank you very much. Yeah, before we move on, yeah, please, if you're not following us, do what to follow us. Give us a follow. I would, like I said earlier, I would explain what we do our projects again. So at the end of the space, or by the end of the space, we literally just have a few minutes more and we'll be done with tonight's space. Yeah, G, you have a question or you have a contribution? Over to you.
Okay, good evening. So I actually followed everything that was talked about this evening. And when people talked about passwords and the length of passwords, that's actually true. But security actually, the basis of security is the human being. The human being is the weak point. That's why phishing is very common. At like presently at this age and stage, nobody has the time to sit down and brute force passwords again. Brute force is like the last option. The first thing they do is to try to fish you, try to social engineer and things like that. So the major way of securing yourself is to teach the human being how to be secure, like you are doing here right now. So it doesn't really depend on your password. Your password doesn't make you safe. The last pass attack that happened, they actually hacked a DevOps engineer that worked with LastPass. So if an engineer could be hacked, an engineer that runs a company that is part of a company that stores password, that secures password, that means anyone can be hacked. So it's not necessarily about your passwords, it's about yourself and about like teaching the person how to identify risks and how to avoid them. It's not necessarily about your passwords don't secure you. Like Abigail said, you should be able to keep things that are private. You should not share private information on the internet and things like that because it is those information, those bits of details that you give about yourself that should be used against you in the event of a cyber attack. That's what I have to say. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, G, for that, for your contribution. Um, like Bedman said, he sent the link already, so I've shared it to the dashboard of the space, so you all can check it out and check how you can be safe online. Thank you all. So we can still entertain more questions. In case you have any question or you have any contribution, please do all to request to the mic. I would make you a speaker. But then moving forward, I would just like to ask Abigail this question. Every now and then I get to see WhatsApp end-to-end encryption, and at a point in time I was making research. I'm not a cybersecurity professional, though, but then I think what I was able to infer from my research that time was that if you send a message to another party on WhatsApp, what the end-to-end encryption means is that WhatsApp does not have access to the message. According to what I read, I was being told that even their servers cannot read our messages. So I just wanted to be sure that what I read was true. And can you back that up, Abigail? Or do you have any explanation for that? Thank you very much.
Okay, I wouldn't like say I have anything to add to that because I have not like read the yeah what you read, yeah, so I don't really know although you've summarized, but I have to still like read it, yeah, because I have like this is just the first time I'm hearing about that, so I don't really have any like thing to say if it's true or if they are lying about it, yeah. Maybe someone else can like add to that, yeah.
So I thank you, Abigail, for for that. Yeah, I understand that not everyone is or we are not highland of knowledge or anything like that. How they used to say. So I don't know if G or Brotherman has a contribution to my question before we move on.
Okay, I'm sorry, I'm not really. Hello, I'm not really like into at this. So my own contribution is that I've not certified it yet, but I think that WhatsApp government agencies actually have access to our private DMs because you talk about something to someone and the next minute you're seeing an ad for that thing. So I'm not saying that I'm sure about what I'm saying, but that's just my perception that the government actually reads what you send to other people. The government actually reads your messages, reads your chats, your texts, which can be used in either by the business, either by WhatsApp itself to improve the service, or by the government for security purposes. I don't know what I'm saying, but I think you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah, thank you very much, G, for that contribution. Yeah, Bedman, you have your hands up, please.
Okay, so that's an interesting question because again I'll go back to like real life events. So obviously we have um end-to-end encryption, which is an open source standard developed by like it's most private messaging platforms that use end-to-end encryption use the Signal protocol, which was developed by people that did the Signal app. So even WhatsApp uses that protocol. So it's an open standard, and I definitely don't trust Facebook or Meta or whatever they call themselves now. I don't trust them. But when it comes to end-to-end encryption, um, unless somebody has found like a massive vulnerability in that protocol, I think if you're using an end-to-end encrypted platform, the it will be very difficult to kind of eavesdrop that, and also it means like even the host, the provider of that service, can't intercept or view the communications because the keys that are used to encrypt the messages are not owned by the provider. It's literally a key exchange between you and the person you're messaging. So there's that. Then there's also the fact that they are trying to actually, that's why like in the UK, they are trying to introduce legislation that would basically force messaging providers to give the government a backdoor into end-to-end encryption, which they are pushing back against. Like all of them, including WhatsApp, are pushing back against it. They're saying they will leave the UK if that legislation is introduced. So hopefully it doesn't pass. But beyond end-to-end encryption, I know for a fact that there has been like numerous cases that have been exposed of governments doing surveillance, mass surveillance on their citizens. So yeah, I wouldn't put it past them to kind of like find a way to eavesdrop on messages and all that stuff. But for now, end-to-end encryption is safe. As safe as it can be anyway.
Thank you very much, Bedman, for that explanation on encryption. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, so this is 8:06 here, 6 minutes past 8, and the plan is to finish on or before 8:15. So I would I would indulge anybody that would be speaking now to be conscious of time. Thank you very much. Yeah, so um Stilo Bite, please. Yeah, you can speak. Thank you.
Yeah, the name is Teloy Beats. Good evening, everyone. I actually just wanted to comment on the suggestion or the um, concern raised by the other speaker when he said WhatsApp probably gives a backdoor entry to governments. And my response was actually going to be the same as that of Birdman who spoke just now. So I think that would be all from my end. Thank
All right. Thank you very much for that. That was very brief, though. Yeah, very, very brief. Okay, so moving forward, I would just like to introduce us all to what we do at Projects again. I stated it at the beginning of the space, but I think it's cool. I also say it again. So when we started, I introduced Projects to the audience, and basically what I said was that we're into recruitment, outsourcing, software development, and gigs. We have close to 7,000 tech talents in our pool, and being able to connect a number of tech talents to clients and founders in and outside of Africa. So for the recruitment process, how it works is that we we get to connect you with a founder or a client, and that would be all for the recruitment part. Yeah, ours is just to hire, but then we make sure that we hire the best candidates for our clients. But then for the outsourcing part, we then hire for our clients. Then after that, we get to handle the payroll, the HR, and all. So that's for the outsourcing part. Then for the software development, when we started, I said we have a background in software. So just in case you have a company, or sorry, you have a project that you think you need people to help you work on, you can reach out to us at projects and we'll get that done for you. So if you are a technical talent or you're a product manager, you're a software developer, back end guy, front end guy, and you're looking forward to connect with tech talent, to connect with clients or founders outside Nigeria, South Africa, I should please sign up on our platform and you can get it, you can start off from that place. Yeah, so I think that will be all from my hand for now about projects. I would just like to once again thank everyone that turned up for tonight's space, most especially our speaker, Abigail Johnson. Thank you so much for coming around despite the short notice. I really do not take that for granted. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, and thank you very much. I'd also like to thank our contributor. If there's anything like top contributor, I think I would like to give that award to Bedman. Yeah, thank you very much, Bedman, for your contributions. Thank you also G for your contribution. Thank you, um, Stylovit or Stilovit. Sorry, I've forgotten the pronunciation again for your contribution also. Yeah, and everyone that joined tonight's call, Kode, Dre, Ted, Ito, Shambu, Dami and rather every other person that joined the conversation. Thank you all for joining the conversation once again. Please make sure that you're following us and do all to have a wonderful night's rest. Thank you all. And yeah, to the Muslims here, Eid Mubarak. Yeah. Bye.